Well, hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Joanne. I'm a law student from Melbourne, Australia. Thank you for joining me. I want to ask you a question. Know whether you can have a cult-like company, actually a cult. Now, I came across an article on the Harvard Business Review because we only read intelligence stuff on this channel. I've posted it here. And is your corporate culture cultish? That there are, and cult can be a good thing. You've got cult status, but is your corporate culture cultish? And really need to be careful of when we start calling things cults, because it can be cultish, but not a cult. I think you all know where I'm going with this eventually. But this is from the Harvard Business Review, and it was from 2019. It's been around for a long time. And it says every company has its own culture, values and norms that define what it is and what isn't appropriate behavior for the organization. Culture guides how you work, and a healthy one enables companies to attract and retain highly motivated employees and unite them around a common goal, purpose, or cause in pursuit of sustainable purpose. But what starts out as a voluntary alignment sometimes ends up looking like something more sinister. Healthy corporate cultures can easily turn into corporate cults, where leaders intend for it to happen or not. Many of the companies we celebrate are treading that line. Now, they've said Apple, Tesla, Zappos, Southwest Airlines, Nordstrom, Harley Davidson are a few examples. They've all built a cult-like following amongst their customers, and increasingly are encouraging cult-like behaviors in their workforce. So what characterizes corporate cult is the degree of control management exercises over employees. They start with recruitment, where employees are screened for their fit. Once in, they see that onboarding process and incentive systems seem to reinforce the need for alignment. And that drives the way the people communicate, make decisions, evaluate, as well as hiring, promotion, termination. 7M. Some cult-like companies go so far to position the workplace as a replacement for family and community, isolating their employees, perhaps unintentionally, perhaps deliberately, from the networks. They encourage people to center their lives around their jobs, leaves little time for leisure or vacations. How can you tell your company is becoming a cult? Which is a big clue. Create their own terminology to reinforce a sense of belonging. In Disney, for example, employees, cast are guests. Hello, Barbara. And when inside the park, you are on stage. And when an attraction breaks down, you use the code 101. Oh, interesting, isn't it? Hey, maybe all of our jobs are cults. Rituals are another one. Signs are always problematic. Hi, Michelle. Yes, it just started a few minutes ago. I've just found an article on the Harvard Business Review about cult-like company. So meaning that a culture of a company could be cult-like, not necessarily. Many years ago, when working with IBM, the writer was given a remarkable book of songs commissioned by dedicated to and almost define its legendary first CEO, Thomas Watson Sr. At the US retail giant Walmart, a compulsory company. Although these rituals may seem a bit dated to American or European eyes, they remain a feature in many Asian cultures. Yamaha Motors continued to sing its song at Horribra, a musician instrument maker. Employees happily sing the song Joy and Fun, while a musical number called Romantic Railways can be heard during lunch breaks at JR Kyushu, a railway company. When the writer recently attended a weekly get-together of a leading US tech company, they found a packed auditorium and an audience who started the session with what they later learned was the standard introductory cheer. People screamed at the company name 3 times. After the CEO, who had invited them, handed out the weekly service awards and each recipient received a deafening applause, the writer felt as if they were at some evangelical revival meeting. A barbecue followed by prize giving. Nearly everyone attended, all dressed like the CEO in black and grey. So this writer is stating that corporations can become cult-like, deliberately or not deliberately. The enthusiasm of the people present were undeniably impressive, but over the course of the following week, as they interviewed a number of executive employees, they began to wonder, prompting that people didn't seem to have much of a life outside the company. Many were separated or divorced. One executive claimed that they only went home to change their clothes, that they might just as well stay at the work using the facilities in the wellness centre. In this context, corporate jolities and the get-together took on more than sinister colours. Red flags should go up when there are too many pep talks, slogans, special lingo, podcasts, YouTube clips, motivational team building activities, and sing-songs. Anytime there's a potential for people to feel excluded for how they think or feel, the organisation has entered cult territory. And ultimately, this will be bad for business. The rigid stifles innovation, thereby endangering the company's future. So remember, being a cult is not illegal, is not against the law. And many companies, as this article has shown, has this cult-like behaviour. If you're senior, always be on the lookout for signs that your culture has become psychologically coercive. I've actually pinned this at the top. You'll find it up the top so you can read it yourself. So do the employees believe in the company's vision because they understand and agree with it, or because that's what they're supposed to do? Interesting, okay? And it says this was at every level to encourage critical thinking, judgment, value individuality, eradicate authority, tap into employees' unique strengths. A great culture will involve learning from the past, agreeing on issues, finding each other, but equally about how Harvard Business 2019 and named some of the big businesses that could be called a cult. Okay. Stuff like us versus them. So because I've been struggling with 7M cult. Now I found that this is IMB, so it's up on IMBD. And I'm going to get to the backflipping of Joy shortly. Dancing for the Devil 7M TikTok cult, full cast and crew. Let this be for you. Now, it says that Miranda directed it, interestingly, but unknown episodes. Here's the list of so technical specs, official sites. So this is the casting crew. I don't know whether I'm not convinced. I think correct, Barbara. Miscellaneous Sarah and Netflix. Why don't they have Without a Crystal Ball as an external source? I have issues knowing how management companies work and knowing how highly regulated dance groups are. I'm still struggling to consider it to be a cult. Now, this was in an article. This is the Wilkins sisters and Melanie. So if you remember that she put up this, check out for the full video. She's also included Miranda and B-Dash's responses. But there's a couple of comments that's been recently added into this. So remember, that's the video. Then we've got Miranda's stuff where she says she wants to address. I decided to move out of living with Melanie. Even after all of that, I was still with Melanie on a TikTok account and to make things work on terms we both wanted. So there's that one. If everyone's reaching out saying I'm okay, there was a disagreement in my family where they didn't respect this decision I made to move in with James and start our life together. That phrase there, I think, is the crux of this, in my opinion. And don't forget, it says she was afraid to go to a papa's funeral because she was afraid of being held captive by her father, and she talks about an alleged assault that occurred. And this was James' one. Okay, so when we go down here, someone says May 29, Netflix talks about 7M cult they're speaking about. Miranda and B-Dash are very dangerous, bad news. Any updates on this? I was looking at Miranda's IG and she seems very happy and successful. Literally just someone went down this Instagram rabbit hole without meaning to. May 29, Netflix specials talking about this 7M cult and its danger. It's called Dancing for the Devil, and yeah, Miranda and B-Dash are still involved. And this person says, I'm definitely, but you guys, you look as fishy as Robert from 7M. You lost a family member and I don't see any tears. I see tissues, yet no tears. I can't have more water in my eyes just thinking of I can have more water in my eyes just thinking of my cat who passed away. The support thing is probably very true. You supported her in a way she didn't need to. She found it somewhere else. Terrible, sad, yes, but there are lots of parties accountable here. I wish you a happy ending. Even I'm not sure what it would be considering both sides' opinions. And someone says, after this, they went to an event and posted like they just hadn't done this. It was very strange. Miranda is definitely still in, so is her husband, B-Dash. Miranda, then someone's posted this again, which is very similar. Miranda wasn't at her only sibling's bridal shower or anything such as a birthday. She did fly in for Christmas and flew out the next day. I bet she does the same with this sister's wedding. It was a marketing stunt. She doesn't have an F about anyone. Without Instagram, she'd be a no-name. Who? Miranda? Yes. And then someone says, you know who also wasn't there? Austin's brother, his only sibling as well. You know who also wasn't there? Austin's mother. Yet you are hearing focused on one person. You assume a lot of things. You use linear thinking and frankly seem unwell. You don't why go so hard? Oops, sorry, I'm deleting my comment. She was just at Melanie's birthday party. They took family pics. So there's lots of comments got here because they're the most recent ones. But remember, she's got Katie Joy as the source to go to for all things updates on Without a Crystal Ball. I find that to be really, really interesting. Interesting how they've got down here. No, Melanie's just terrible for keeping this account up. So apparently the first one is science decision. And I mean, there hasn't been an update for so long, other than the fact that groups become all-encompassing. We know that workplaces can also become cult-like. Now, this is I'm glad you liked it, Nikki. Yeah, I just thought, I've just noticed, like yesterday, defending her, and I thought she's got more backflips than her. She did more backflips in 24 hours than what a gymnast would do training. So she may as well. And I was a gymnastics coach. So I thought, okay, we'll do that. So this was May 24th. This was written yesterday. This is Glamour magazine. Dancing for the Devil, the 7am TikTok call, everything you need to know about Netflix. I found this very interesting. Fans of true crime, we've got a recommendation for you, but it's Dancing for the Devil, the 7am TikTok call is a Netflix latest documentary. It tells the story of a young dancer, Miranda Wilking, who joined a management company called 7M that was also be a church. It doesn't make any sense, and reportedly a cult. Here's a question for you. That does so. They're saying that she joined a management company called 7M that also be a church, and reportedly. So is it the church that's a cult, or the management company that's a cult? This is the problem that I'm having at the moment, because they seem to interchange. They're interchanging. And that sense, Charlie Ross, doesn't make any sense. I'll read it to you as it says it. Tells the story of a young dancer in a company called 7M that was also and reportedly a cult. What follows are several twists and turns and devastating consequences. So if it's a church that it's a cult, why doesn't it say Dancing for the Devil, the church dance cult or something, or the church cult or something like that? Because again, we're saying that 7M and the church are one and the same. And remember, in Katie's lawsuit, the church has not sued. The Derricks, Robert Shin, and 7M have. And so some of her evidence relates to the church, and the church is not suing her. So after Wilkin disappeared from her family's life, they've gone public with their story and grief, fascinating into the insight of human nature and why some people are susceptible to cults. Here's everything we need to know. IMBD synopsis reads: TikTok dancers join a management firm tied to a church, uncovering disturbing truths about the founders' sinister agenda. Right, now we've actually got something. They're saying the 7M management company has a link to the church. But what evidence do we have that there's linked, other than the fact that he runs the management company and he's the pastor of the church? Can you do these two separate entities and run them separately? Or because you have two separate entities doesn't mean that they're together? I'm taking you through my thought process. I have no opinion on this. I don't know the answers, but this is what I guess I'm doing critical thinking, which is in a lot of people these days. And so that one sentence also contradicts what she said at the start. TikTok dancers joined a management firm tied to a church, uncovering disturbing truths about the founder's sinister agenda. The documentary stems from the story of Miranda Wilkin, whose quest to become a dancer led her to a management company that also turned out to be a church. After she cut off contact with her family, her sister, and parents, looked into what was happening behind the scenes, and now believes that the organization she became was and remains a cult. Now, that would only work if 7M and the church were one and the same. As I said, I'm feel free to add your ideas and opinions in it. I mean, I may be totally off or totally up the creek without a paddle. If you want to correct me, feel free. The organization she became involved with, 7M, was and remains good. Now, we saw in the Harvard Business Review article we just read that companies can become cult because of certain factors, and that's done through the training. And I did, again, I'll just reiterate, I linked the article to the Harvard Business Review up the top. So like Apple and Nordstrom and other organizations and Disney, could be deemed, the Disney Corporation could be deemed a cult, because if you work at Disneyland, you have to fit in with a culture, you see, where you have to go and where's a different culture. I work at a cult. Anyway. Okay. The doc delves into the story of the past that she gets the complaints both of us have made about his controlling behaviour. We get to know Miranda's sister Melanie and her parents Kelly and Dean as they recount publicly, calling 7M account to, as well as this bishop was being exploited and manipulated. It's an emotional watch to see Miranda. Yeah, there's no more money. That's what's happened. Did I say that out loud? The reality of what cults can do in terms of isolation is so haunting. I also read in the business article that companies can do that. Everyone's reactions to KJ shenanigans. The series also includes members from once members of 7M, including dancers who joined, hoping its would make them succeed, are working to take the group and shin down from the outside. The series, and again, if it was illegal or if there was something illegal happening, if there was all this overwhelming evidence, why hasn't there been any action taken? The series is about exposing the wrongdoers and setting the story straight, executive producer Jessica Avico told Netflix, all with the hope of helping those still under the control of the church. So now we're back to the church. Are we talking about the management group or the church? The series about 7M from HBO was announced back 2022, but hasn't surfaced yet. So the team behind Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult, are the first to tell the story of the church and the impact it's had on survivors' lives. So we're back to the church. But we're first. Does that sound like? The documentary director, Derek Doran, had spoken out about how Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult, sheds light on the impact of cult behavior and involvement. And I think audiences will be surprised how easy regular people can get sucked into cult-like groups and how devastating. Yes, cult-like doesn't mean it's a cult. Cult-like, and how devastating impact can be on family and friends and communities, he told Netflix. I'm in awe of the families who let us in as they worked hardly to rescue their loved ones. But if they don't want to come back, they don't want to come back. Now, this one, was it's this article here. This was May the 8th. This is on Distractify. Now, my whole thing is you can be cult-like. Doesn't make it a cult. And it's a highly regulated industry. So this was written, it says, a rift between TikTok sister Miranda and Melanie Wilkin led to an investigation into the 7M cult, in brackets, featured in Netflix. That's what it is. It's a rift. So, funnily enough, none of the articles have talked about the fact the last person that lost. In an age where cult attention, it seems unlikely that people could easily. Let me just put this in here. So, look, feel free to read yourself. What happens when groups like Scientology? So, it would seem obvious to stay away from cults or groups that seem like one. However, no one sets out to join cults. So, it says Netflix's newest cult documentary set to premiere soon. Details what happens when one half of a dancing sister duo, the Wilkins sisters, fell into the wrong management firm. 7M Films claims to be a management company for dancers, models, and actors, but an investigation behind the scenes shows a darker story, what's really going on. But they both joined. One succeeded, one didn't. Right? So that's not quite right, because both of the sisters joined Robert Shin founded 7M Films in 2021, so it's pretty new. However, to make a name for his new venture, son Isaiah approached growing sisters. While Miranda Wilkin decided she wanted to work with 7M, Melanie noticed several red flags and decided to stay away from the organisation. But what they've said? Didn't Melanie say that she got in? One of those red flags is the leader, Robert Shin. Is she doing another KJ and changing the narrative? Who is the leader of Los Angeles Shekinah Church. However, the church seems to have no physical or social media presence. That's a KJ quote. According to a Daily Beast profile, corporate filings show the church's address is just an office space, coincidentally, the same address as 7M Films headquarters. So, oh no. Shekinah Church was founded in 1994 and seems to borrow from several other religions. Possibly, that's the vibe I'm getting, Nikki. Nikki says, I think this documentary is going to come because Melanie is the jealous sister. And like in 2009, former kind of member lawsuit against Shin, claiming he had her from family, brainwashed her, and defrauded her out of nearly $4 million, which was allegedly funded to through the non-tax-paying tree, ruled in Shin's favour, leaving Chung to pick up the piece of the life he stole. So, those allegations that he brainwashed her and defrauded her and isolated her, the judge ruled in Shin's favour. So, it's interesting. This is a cult, she told Daily Beast. This totally ruined people. You hear about people who went to Vietnam going through such a trauma. Many people cannot be human being. This is what it does. Don't compare what you did to people that went to the Vietnam War, because what they went through was a lot worse than what you went through. She claimed Shin exerted undue influence, mind control, coercive persuasion tactics over her to divest her mind of obeying the will of God. Well, I could argue that happens at work sometimes too. Of course, this was before Shin's film days, but his pattern of behaviour continued, leaving several former 7M dancers to sue the company. Green, Kylie Douglas, and Kevin Concrete Davis joined 4 others in accusing Shin of running a cult. Again, are we talking about the church or are we talking about 7M? Shekinah is a cult operating under the guise of cross complaint said via Rolling Stone. The church! Facts matter. Facts matter. So, yes, the court documents talked about Shekinah is a cult operating under the guise of a religious institution. So it's not the 7M TikTok cult. It's the Shekinah church cult. Facts matter. He refers to himself as a man of God and preaches to Shekinah members, and that without submitting to him, cursed, Robert required full physical economic control over Shekinah members. The church. The document, like, Wilkins, when Melanie and her parents went live on Instagram to tell their story, Miranda and her husband, James B. Derrick, tried to blame the familiar separation on racism towards Miranda's husband. How Wilkins denied this, pointing out that Melanie was also dating a black man at the time. Even still, 7M was able to use this to drive a wedge between the sisters and pull Miranda into their money-making machine. The former members alleged that Shin used 7M to control members of the church and of luxury. What I want to know is how many members of the church are signed to the management company, and whether every is linked to the church. That's the only way you are going to work out whether the company is the one and the same. Is joining the church. If to join the church, you have to be a member of the management company, or if a company, do you have to be part of the church? If that's a yes, then you could argue that they're one and the same. But if it's a no, if members of the church are not members of the management company, then you've got two separate things. Facts matter. Remember, facts matter. In fact, 7M can be a reference to Shekinah's teaching of the Seven Mountain Mandate, an ideology that claimed believers must infiltrate the seven facets of the modern world: family, religion, education, media, entertainment, business, and government to establish God's kingdom on earth. It's essentially the now ideologically that believes its followers should be positions throughout every industry. This makes sense considering Shin's other ventures, including real estate, medical testing, outreach programs, and other money-making schemes. Well, why isn't the real estate agency called medical testing or Shin, including SA allegations? But little has been shared with the public, so we're eager to see what's shed to light. Is it a little static? Oh, look, I'm probably moving around, so I'm sorry about that. I will try and fix that. I apologize, Michelle. So fix that for you. Cancellation on, and I've got suppression. We'll see whether that works better. Yeah. Oops. So I apologize. Oh, right. Yeah, I shuffle in my chair, unfortunately, so I apologize for that. I'm a fidgeter. Static. I wonder where the static's coming from. Okay, I've just adjusted my mic settings, so I'm hoping that's working. I apologize. I tell you, I'm not very good at these oh, I've got myself really, really big at the moment. That's all right. As I said, I'm sorry about that. I will just keep working on that. But I hope you can see the point that I'm making is that I just cannot work out why. Okay, cool. Why they're linking the two together? Because as far as I'm concerned, I can't see evidence that they're one and the same. Okay, I'm just going to put myself down here for a moment, and I'm just going to share another. We're going to have a look at the Instagram now, but there's been a lot deleted, I believe, as well. So let's do this. All right. There is so much here. There's so much here. All right, yeah, I've stuffed up, so I apologize. Okay, so here we go. This should be working. All right, so here we have. Sorry about all of this. I'm just a klutz sometimes. Absolute klutz sometimes. Absolute klutz. Okay, so I can't even see the chat properly. So I'm having a great one. I'll overlay it so I can see it. Oh, gee whiz, silly. Hello, Errol, how are you? Okay, so this is her. Let's have a look at the stories. We haven't watched the stories for a while. Oh, gee, there's a million of them. Oh no, she's not doing makeup advice. Oh, she went shopping. Friday night Sephora sprees. I've never tried NARS eyeshadow. These colours look warm and can match my skin tone. Anyone else have yellow undertones and look terrible in red? Oh, you had to reset your Wi-Fi. Oh. Wowzers. So just take a break. I'm just going to Is she giving, what's the demon done now? Oh, she's deleting like anything. Is she giving, I don't know if she's giving Boyle advice as well, but she's bought some makeup apparently. Well, it was AdSense payday this week. Bought this palette a few months ago to figure out that cool undertones do not look good on me, on my skin. Whoops. Then she's got here, Natasha Denona, brown-eyed girls that are good with warm tones. This palette is one of my all-time favorites. So essentially, she's showing us that she's got money to buy lots of makeup, apparently. Yeah, I thought you'd need the money for your legal fees, but anyway. Oddly, my foundation is for cool tones, but only because the equivalent tone for yellow undertones is way too orange for me. So it's my little compromise, a little cooler, but it works. I'd like to see her as an Oompa Loompa. Her brushes double as a tissue for her nose. Oh dear. Oompa Loompa, Oompa Doo. I've got a special song for you. Oompa Loompa. Oh, we've got nothing. What's happened? We've lost it. She can then get spit in that. OMG, she spends so much on makeup, then gets spit in it, and then gets infected. It's a vicious cycle she goes through. Yes. Oh dear, it's not working. Oh look, there's all these. Has she deleted them all? Are these all deleted? She deleted it all. We're gonna go back. Let me go back. Oh, here we go. Just took a while to load. All right, so then she did it, and then we've got this. How many pets do you have? No comment. Too many. Will Miranda be going to Melanie's wedding? It was so sad she wasn't at the hens week. Here's the thing about the family. I respect their right to privacy when it comes to their family functions. If Miranda doesn't attend the wedding or bachelorette party, it's because she's dying to herself and Robert will punish her for going. If she does go, it's for appearances for Robert, so there is no win. Really? She says those skinny jello so jaundice. Isn't that a liver problem, jaundice? She never stands by words, says Nikki. Isn't jaundice to do with a liver deficiency? Yes, jaundice may occur if the liver can't efficiently process red blood cells. It's normal in healthy newborns and usually clears on its own. At other ages, it may signal infection or liver disease. Symptoms include yellowing of the skin and whites of eyes. What do you get when you watch too much KJ TV? A pain in the neck and an IQ of 3, says Lulu. Oh, yes, alcoholics can get jaundice. Yes, so I'm wondering whether she's got jaundice. All right. So, again, Miranda, so hello, Bo. Miranda is sort of going to damned if she does and damned if she doesn't by Kate. Because if she goes, she's going to say she's keeping up appearances. And if she doesn't go, quit watching her because I give honest comments and she turns them into bullying every time. I almost lost my channel, so I say my F word for Twitter. Yes, good point, Cheryl. Yeah. Can you research Idaho murders and already solved that case years ago? Oh, yeah. Says an already solved case happened years ago. I don't know I can add anything new to the conversation. My biggest problem covering murder cases is that there's so many bad takes on YouTube. I have firsthand seen a creator falsely accuse a mum of waterboarding and getting a child, leading to death threats from police protection of the mum, only for the dad to kidnap the daughter, end up in prison, and be accused the one that essayed a child. The creator has 1 million subs now, doesn't care the damage she caused an innocent mum. We got the waterboarding again. Hello, short order cook. We've got waterboarding again. How many times can she fit waterboarding into a... Doesn't everybody get accused of waterboarding by KJ? Yes, Mama K. False accusations, you say, yes. Is that Sophie Long she's talking about there? Let's just... Why did Derek and Jill Dillard stop showing their children's faces on social media? I'm pretty sure Jill mentioned that she wasn't sure that she wanted her kids to grow up like she did. If Gypsy gets her ish together, would you consider supporting again? This is where we get to the backflips. Speaking of waterboarding, says Michelle. Yes. First off, I always support Gypsy. Going to therapy, surrounding herself with friends and family, and support her. And I also support her. I don't like her being referred to as ish. And I hate that people dehumanize her in such a way. Even when I don't agree with her choices, I will never be the one to pile on or entertain people that are disrespectful or hateful to her. Christy is like a sister to me, and anyone that disrespects her kids will hear from me. Getting baptized is waterboarding, correct? Apparently. And again, let's just say that accusation, that comment was made in the church by another member and did not even mention Robert Shin in it. Did not say. So how can that be linked to him? The only thing is that he's the pastor of the church. It's not his voice. If you are going to say that, it would be the person that made the comment. But anyway. Okay, are you watching Timberwolves? So we had a world animated series that came out on Netflix. My husband has the game on, but I forgot to turn it on. I get too nervous with playoff games. I kind of watch with hands over my eyes. Oh, you're into sports now. He's just calling on. That's all right. We first short order. Are you watching? Watching them lose the other night hurt my brain. What were you watching tonight before my son went to bed? Because now we've got to pull the kid out. So here's a comment about that she shared about Gypsy. I get that she was aged, but she still plotted to have her own mother killed. There are other options besides that. Changed young. Exactly what she was doing when she manipulated that poor kid into thinking she loved him, and this was the only way. She would marry many lives instead of calling the police or her father. There are always options. She should be in jail for at least the rest of her life for 25 years. Her sentence was a joke. And she says, listen, your narrative isn't the truth. No matter how many times you say this, period. The prosecution for Nick's trial showed meticulous evidence that Nick wanted to kill. He wanted to kill before DD. He made Gypsy sign a master-slave contract. He was domineering and at times extremely abusive to Gypsy. He was not an innocent boy. Nick's ex-girlfriend accused him of A. Gypsy testified to help his case. What more could you do? Nick had a million options, but he wanted to kill. Really? I thought... Okay. When Gypsy was involved in another unhealthy relationship with her husband, she didn't raise a hand. She didn't plot a murder. She called her attorney and got out of her apartment before she was hurt. That's a fact. Is it? That's a fact. Are you surprised that Ryan is a teacher if he's that abusive? Ryan isn't who you think he is. And there is a lot about him that has been kept quiet. That's all I'm going to say. She didn't want to go back to jail, did she? She did not want to go back to jail. That's right. And then she's got Diddy accused of assaulting former fit student April while dating Jennifer Lopez. Gee whiz, there's 100 of these. This is the text Nick said to Gypsy. Who is the... Oops. I'm about to put the blade on my wrist and let it bleed if you don't come back within the... Is that somebody crying out for help, or is that somebody that's trying to manipulate? And what's the message before and after that context is that either as well? I mean, it says the 2nd of June 15. I mean, that could have been, I don't know. Cracks me up. KJ is calling Gypsy a murderer now because Gypsy left her for Kim K. That's right, because she went and spent time with Kim K. Who is your favourite Timberwolves player? It's a basketball team. Where does J Lo fit in what Diddy was doing? If you have some, you may have some insights, apparently. Yeah. How much is GRB paying you for keeping quiet? I understand that's from Nick. Nikki, I understand that's from Nick. But I need to know the context of it because we don't know what's going on. It took Kim K for KJ to walk away in a huff, yeah. Because, again, she's just shown one screenshot from Nick. Okay. So I said, I just don't know. I just don't know. I just can't make an opinion on one bit of evidence. Why did you block my main account but then respond to my question? Feeling guilty? Just want to show you how delusional this person is. Which person? You? Well, see, I'd like to see them. I'd like to see them all too. Big insight into what was going on at that time. You know, you just can't pick out and say, "Oh, this is such and such." They may have just had a big argument at the time. You know, and kids when they have an argument, they think it's the end of the world. All right, answer all of my main account's questions. Blocking me makes you look guilty. And then she says, you are guilty of trolling. I could show you something in isolation. You sure Jip Jip isn't paying you? Maybe all her money because all of her money, she says, more from my favourite troll. Clearly you have mental health issues. Please seek help. You are worse than Nick. Imagine spending this so much time to create a mentally ill. Imagine spending all this time responding to stupid questions. Who's the mentally ill one? Imagine if the documentary was actually about her. That would be hilarious. They were documenting her terrible SM presence and what the evil. It says Michelle, and at what point does she get bored asking herself questions? Well, she's her favourite troll, apparently. I'm just going to stop sharing this for a minute. I've just got to fix this up. I keep and I keep. I want to keep messing up. Back, talk to amongst yourself for a moment. I'm going to leave temporarily and then I'm going to come back. Just bear with me. I'll be back very soon. Just to fix this tech issue. I'll be back. Talk amongst yourselves, and I'll be with you in a minute. I must see. Hope you miss me. Miss me? Okay, so here we go. This again. I don't have my background on, so you can see my poor background. All right. So it says clearly re-edit the film. Well, that's true. So it says, imagine spending this time. Imagine spending so much time. Imagine if you had spent so much time though on responding to these stupid questions, eh? Okay, so here we go. Then someone else says, you are too old for this app. Get a real job and stop spreading fake news. Do you delete the posts with people accusing you of being racist? I'm not racist. Oh, no, I am not racist. Clearly, anything about me if you think I am. Because there was some posts where people were calling her out to be racist. And I'm sure we'll go visit her son. Are you ever coming back in camera? Miss seeing you. And this was the picture that she posted. She does look very... Lou says, KJ's latest look at me picture. Her chin is further left than she is. Wow. Is this the thing here? Did Scott Peterson kill Lacey Peterson? Very obviously. Okay. I need you to ask more questions about Jessica and Cody Nixon, LOL. I'm intrigued. I don't even know who they are. Now I feel maybe I need to. Okay. Whatever. There's a million of these. We haven't even gone to Instagram yet. What does got 8 mean in slang? 8 is a slang typically used on social media such as Instagram and TikTok to show admiration or praise for someone who has done a great job at something. It's often used in the context of fashion, music, or performance. Where's this come from? Why on earth has she shared this? Oh yeah, my son rates it 10 out of 10. If she's so delusional, why do you keep blocking her before she can see your response? She's back with her third account now. She's speaking in third person. Damn right. That's why you blocked her second account. More third person speak. Why on earth? What on earth is she doing? She's arguing with herself. You're just a robot that's been brainwashed. Please seek professional help. Now, let me tell you, she's tried to be funny here, right? But she's put R2D2, which did he goes. If she wanted to show that she was a robot, a proper robot, she needed C3PO. It can talk and know. So that's she should have used. This would have had more punch, in my opinion, if she'd used C3PO. Actually, have to know Star Wars to know that. But she's just put R2D2, which was. Lulu says she clearly writes her own questions and can't even answer them properly. Yeah, we don't even know who's answering, who's asking the questions. Ask me a question. Terms like troll and trolling are for the young users, lady. Why are you guilty? Hey, old girl. Is this Toad? Asking her. Are you scared to answer, but Nina, because you're finished your Gypsy and okay. Jessica and Cody Nixon met on Big Brother and won tar. Married 4 daughters, no cult, just S. I just checked their socials. They didn't really pique my interest. No, they probably got if there was SA or R allegations or something, or it would seem like they were a cult. She'd be interested. Any fun plans this week? Currently cleaning out my see-through clothes to figure out what he needs for summer. Boys go so fast. Christy Blanchard didn't interfere in Nicholas Gotti John's case. Yeah, she feels terrible about how she said things about Gypsy. I've seen lots of things in my days, Ken. Nothing that has ever freaked me out, but reading these emails, OMG, I've never seen anything like it. And now there's these running around some freedom movement. Losers who stand by poor old Nicky Poo could see them. Have you seen the trailer? They call it these Nick freedom fighters. I don't know. What on earth? Again, what does that prove? Who's that between? Who's that conversation between? You just show me a conversation between two people where one person's written lots of text and the other one has just responded. You know? And the person is not speaking very highly of them. Show me the full thing. Examples of how Ryan's unhappy in the marriage. Oh, that's all going to be seen in the series on Lifetime. Just wait. Well, she left regardless. Huh? You mean it was Fancy trying to interfere in Nick's case because he sent these threats to his ex-girlfriend? You mean it wasn't Krusty? Does she mean Christy? It's Krusty. Again, who's she talking to? Other than I've seen a lot of things in my days. Well, who's Ken? I know is married to Barbie. I can see it says the name Marcelli at the top, but that's no. Katie, yeah, Krusty, Katie. Has she just implicated herself? If using Nina on TikTok as a source about Gypsy, she's not only unreliable and most interfered. In Gypsy's parole and falsely reported Gypsy for violating her parole. People who file reports are not anonymous, and the parolee is made aware of who's reporting her. Nina flat out denied reporting Gypsy to her parole officer. Over the years, I have learned that many people literally hate Gypsy for complete lies and baseless assumptions. It's more popular as a creator to hate Gypsy, and you'll get better views if you don't join this rodeo after her release. I've been with this family since 2019, in the midst of her incarceration, and I know exactly who Nicholas. Two of his prison girlfriends have accused him of violence, and threats, and both have apologized. How can he have a prison girlfriend if he's in a male prison? Hang on. Do they have because if he's in one prison and his girlfriends are in another prison, how can they say that he's been violent if they've not seen him in prison? I don't know. My head's hurting, actually. Trying to work all this out. Hello, Brenda. All the time, April Johns actually had sense and was obsessed with Gypsy. Like, she talks about his girlfriends. Gee, do you get to have girlfriends? Can you have members of the opposite sex with you in prison? Where do I sign? This is why people have issues. She says is fanciful and nonsense. Makes no sense. Just all the music. It just English never let go. Now Gypsy Christie's sending you info to use you to speak on their behalf, like they have done with that girl Bree. Are you new here? Bree is new. I've been friends with her. I never post here. I will 100% post facts when Nina outright lies. Account. Who says they don't have a tick out? $7M, you need to check her TikTok. You reported Jessica Loke's comments for violating community guidelines. We'll review and take action. We reviewed the comment you reported and found community guidelines. In reporting comments. And she's proudly reported comments. So don't speak out against it. And then again, she's on TikTok. Just like she's got a Twitter account. There you go, another one. I haven't watched it yet, Nikki. I will do. I need to. I'm going to look at it after I finished here. How in the world would Nina get texts between Ken and Christy? Did no one question that? She's given them applause. Okay, so she's obviously got her snooped. There you go. Come over and follow me on TikTok. I'm going to try and post here more often. Ooh. She's now on TikTok. Is she preparing for something to happen with her YouTube? Her followers' information she puts out isn't verified, and she thinks using allegedly won't get her sued. She didn't lie, though. She said allegedly because she receives information and can't say it's 100% true. And I wouldn't say she was lying. And then Katie Joyce says, you are proving that she factually puts out information that isn't verified and does not work to verify it. This post could get her sued. Allegedly. Oh dear, but allegedly at least helps you separate fact from fiction. Oh, there you go. And she's posted it again 27 minutes ago. Oh, geez, she's been busy. Hang on. Here we go again. And it's common sense because I'm friends with Christian Gypsy that I can get messages from Ken, which he gladly provided to me. Right. To be clear with everybody, I am not someone that can be easily manipulated. Well, that's not what you said about Clark Swanson, but anyway. I do not know what I hear at face value. The reasons I can be friends with Christian Gypsy is because they haven't lied to me. They will provide any proof I name thrown at me, and I have gotten to know them outside of this public BS. I was around when literally no one cared about them. Gypsy was still in prison. The public had no vested interest in Gypsy. I didn't join a story when it became the hot topic. When I say that Nick go to Johnny's evil, it's because he is. I have 5 years experience with his behaviour and the pain he inflicts on so many women. She's got 5 years experience. By saying she's got 5 years experience, she's implying she just do a drunk live and be done. When will KJ be famous? I can't answer that. When will KJ get a picture in the paper? I can't answer that. She says, I have 5 years of experience with his behavior. She's making the implication there. She's giving the implication there that she's a victim of him. I've got 5 years of experience. She says, I've got 5 years of experience with his behavior. Okay. Here's her Instagram now. All right. So that was, she's been busy. She's still posting like, all right. So let's go back to here because she's gone after a few people and I think we'll nearly be done here. So, oh, no, I did want to like that. News is beginning to spread about the upcoming docuseries. While the series explores stories of dancers being lured into a cult, there's more than 20 years of history connected to the group. There's also uncovered how. Because I don't believe anyone's been around for that amount of time. Brave survivors of the group who joined as young teens share their heart-wrenching stories about the trauma and the abuse they experienced in Robert's alleged cult. Who was it that said allegedly doesn't cut it? There are so many people that have been impacted and hurt by this group. Many of the survivors feel speaking out. Thankfully, a couple of former members years will also be. Their stories will impact and help. Yeah, just remember, allegedly won't cut it. Remember. When was that? 2 days ago. Casey Ventura expresses gratitude and outpouring and support in the release. She requests that people. Additionally, she offered hope and love to other people trapped in similar relationships. Believe you can in your heart. Okay, so then she's got fake champion of women and victims, Jennifer Lopez, violence against women. Well, that could get you sued. Okay, on there is the wives, and then she's got another one about Diddy. Their father needs prison, so do a few of his sons. I fixed her post for her. Here's her big update. Yeah, we did that one, didn't we? 5 days ago, yeah. That okay, we've got to do this one. This is a sick narrative about Nick, apparently, allegedly. And forced her to respond to him immediately. He would at times threaten to kill himself if she didn't respond. Nick had a previous girlfriend that accused him of abuse. His stepfather was a registered SO. That is a lot about Nick and the background that he grew up with. Troubled. Gypsy moved in with a registered SO. Come on now. Gypsy asks for help. Nick wanted to kill Dee Dee. Gypsy spent months trying to persuade him. Really? No one was manipulated. Flat out ignores all of Nick's abusive demands and threats to Gypsy. Gypsy admits her role. But what did Nick have in killing Dee Dee to free Gypsy? And if it was to free Gypsy, how did he know that she wanted freed? Just adding he's extremely dangerous and exactly where she should be. But please ignore all of this because you listen to conspiracies. I'm just trying to make. And then we've got this one. And then, as we do, when we get heat, we pull out the dog. Let's talk about the rumor that Christy and Ken tried to put Nicholas in prison. Text was shared by, she claims, actually gave me a copy of the conversation from his phone, and the conversation is with Fancy. Fancy called Nick a psychopath and called his emails to his ex-girlfriend sick. It was Gypsy Rose Blanchard. I'm glad Ken found those messages so the real thing can be shown. And she goes, me too, Gypsy. It's strange that even with proof, Nina and others would find a reason to excuse Fancy's about faith. That's sad. So blinded by dislike for me, they would ignore facts. And KJ says, it's sad. I think it's sad to ignore that Fancy called Nick a psychopath and believed he was dangerous. But what do I know? Even though your abuse is indisputable and the state agreed that the abuse was a mitigating factor in your sentence, you also have a very low probability of reoffending. But they don't like facts. Right. That here, I'm just showing them, Jack. I'm not giving them a. So it says, but accusing Christy Batcher of interfering in a criminal case is actually a crime. So I guess using the word allegedly is going to get her out of a lawsuit. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Just remember that the next time you hear that, Katie Joy, it's not. I don't know who this Nina is. I don't know who this Nina. I believe that she was She did say something about talking about. She'd spoken to Gypsy because she was also suffering from Munchausen by proxy. Is she the one that she was perfectly? If that's so. Anyway, I'm going to leave it. I think I've had my fit. So we've had Katie Joy saying, "Oh, I can't find that." She's deleted the ones where she said she was done. She was done with, and then she back. They were back again, and they're back being besties again. And I just don't know. Let me just see if someone's got it here. I'm just having a look to see who's got it. Oh, hey, look at this. This is Miranda. She's getting ready to go to a wedding now. Wouldn't be the sister. Hey. Oh, all right. Here she says, "Hi friends, here I am. I got ready to film, but on camera, but got derailed on a phone call. May has been a month of slowing down for me. I spent a lot of time covering topics and decompressing from the past few years. I didn't care about getting X amount of views or putting out X amount of videos. I dove into what I wanted to cover without pressure. Next Wednesday, the docuseries that I worked on will be available to stream on Netflix. A lot of my project. This month, I spent time behind the scenes prepping for the release. Of the lawsuit and the truth, but taking this month not to put pressure on myself was a nice break. I just wanted to say hi. Right. Series is filmed, has been released. So now apparently she's been prepping She's been. So she, yeah, and apparently she says that someone's delusional. This one says that was filmed for the Kardashian show and an opportunity for Gypsy to try and help a friend of hers was given. And this wasn't even about Gypsy. They weren't meeting to be friends. Who wore it better? People were calling her out, old. Then, oh yes, that's right. She's deleted all the posts she had about her siblings. No, never. Haven't spoken to them in 3 years. Did Karma ever catch up with your sibling? She bagged her parents and her family again. And Balls has put up there that what happened. Oh yes, what happened with your phone call and with Gypsy? There's this weird chick on TikTok talking about Gypsy's micro deletion, claiming Gypsy had the symptoms. This is on the website she found. Gypsy's never had any seizures ever. She did not need a feeding tune, can eat on her own. She does not have any muscle weakness and never needed a wheelchair. DD's excuse for a wheelchair changed from muscular dystrophy, which she didn't have, to paralysis, which she didn't have. Gypsy is allowed to walk around her house or play in a chair by DD. Gypsy doesn't have any cognitive delays and her IQ is normal and was tested in person. I had someone about that. Katie refers to being on the spectrum in that post. It was apparently memorial. I have no relationship until she was that. It's been a hot minute. So this was the picture that she took. Christy Blanchard, maturity is when you realise. Yeah, she deleted all the posts that she made about her family. She talked about that's right. She says, oh yeah, here she goes. I archived my previous posts about Gypsy Rose Blanchard, not because I still don't feel concerned or have issues with the way Lifetime is handling the situation, but because no matter what, my posts came from a place of protection. I want to be clear that Gypsy nor Christy manipulate or dictate my feelings about them. When I have a concern, I can always express my feelings to them. I stand firm that I don't like how Lifetime has handled her story. I don't believe the image they portray of her on socials give the story of the seriousness or care that it deserves. Gypsy is not a perfect victim. I don't agree with the fact that she murdered Dee Dee. But the thing about Gypsy is that she doesn't believe she should have murdered her mother either. Huh? She doesn't believe she should have murdered her mum either. But she did. I don't support every decision that she makes to still want the best for her. And Gypsy is impulsive. She'll do that herself from her abuse, often reacts from a trauma response when she's out of control. She isn't a horrible, evil, horrible human. She's flawed like we all are. My concern for her is that she takes care of herself. I sometimes forget that she's under contract and has a massive network that is pushing. So much of what is per social media is done by Lifetime. Oh, really? She talks and it's her face. Okay. Gypsy and I had a long talk today and she was very, very open about my concerns. She heard them and agreed she does need to take a step back. I will never hate her for a crime. I will support her taking care of herself and getting help. Correct, Michelle. She archived, not deleted. I don't want my friendship of 5 years with Christy to end over Lifetime's agenda. So it's Lifetime's fault, not Gypsy's fault or Christy's fault. It's Lifetime's fault that she's acting this way. Right. The only reason Gypsy and the stepmom is communicating is because they trusted her and probably... Yeah, that's true. Christy isn't a bad person. She's a fierce, protective mum. Actually, she's a stepmother. But my I can say with what I am seeing and they don't get mad. Gypsy is not in violation of terms of her parole. Lifetime is using her platforms for promotion. She's allowed to be paid to share her life today because it has nothing to do with her crime. Gypsy will never convince the public of who she is or who she's not. Well, because she's only where she is because of today. The only reason she is something or anyone's interested in her is because of the crime she committed and the fact that she's out of jail. It's always someone else's fault, yes. Um, that's right, just trying to get somebody. So, it's pictures with is Melanie Lee Goldman. Apparently, KJ sent a scathing letter to Netflix director in the attempt to smear and discredit Melanie Goldman, citing this child in Orange County. Apparently, she says here, you're right, but not about Ryan. Ryan is a jerk and super abusive. How could she witness if you don't leave your house? When you defended Gypsy when the news first broke of her and Ken being public together, do you think Christy knew it wasn't just platonic? Yes, I believe that they lied to me. But I also think Gypsy, what she wants, even frustrates her parents. Controlled by anyone. But you just said she's controlled by the you just said that she's controlled by the production company. She's impulsive and very attention-seeking, which is explained away as she learnt from her mother. Go. This was the post word deleted. Sometimes she does. Sometimes the hardest part of growing up is knowing you're abused by your sibling, but your parents fail to protect you. Your sibling is the perfect golden child. You are labelled as fat, ugly, and impossibly disobedient sibling. Your sibling can physically abuse you and bully you, but you're still the bad child to your parents. Well, isn't that what siblings do? I'm not excusing the behaviour, but we all fight with our siblings. Your parents enable your abusive sibling. You grow up and achieve better and graduate with a higher GPA, but achieving lose a sibling. You're never allowed to grow up. When you finally grow up, you realise the abuse you experience is not only a betrayal of your sibling, but a betrayal by your. You realise you don't have to be the bad one anymore. To be better, you realise no matter what you accomplish, that they will never accept you. They will never apologise for abusing you. You realise you don't have to be. Yeah. So that post is gone now. And then she said, my sister's in this post. So something happened at one point in time. And I can't have money. Too many people are telling Gypsy to get her bag. Money is being put in trust to avoid the appearance of profiting off crime. So this is when she discounted her. I've stood by for 5 years in support of Gypsy. I've reached the end of my journey. I've made the feelings known to the family. I made them clear in January. Profiting off murder is wrong. Becoming famous for murder is fun. So bypass laws regarding profiting off crime here. This is just the quest for fame and money. That's why I said she backed quickly. Told to stay off social medias, but she reopened her accounts. But you just said it was Lifetime that did it. She was told she's getting invited to people on TikTok. It's all too much. I hope that at some point they can see that fame and money is not the goal. Meeting Kim Kardashian and the red carpet fanfare is where I tap out. I wish that the change and work that is beyond money and fame. This doesn't ally with my platform in any capacity. It took you 24 hours. She does not have I saw the record. So she has disorder. A part of this disorder that is Gypsy did not have a feeding tube and never had seizures. Anyway, So yes, so that was the little backflip, and then she shared this stuff on her family. And yes, flip. That's why I said she needs to go. She needs to join the Olympic team because she is flip flopping faster. In fact, she's flip flopping faster than the politicians in my country. She could be a journo. I'm sorry, she could be a politician here because she's flip flopping. She was still. That's right. Yeah, of a young man's death. Right. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to. There was a couple of podcasts released today during the week. One was an athlete, an all ability who is finding her way and sport. And another podcast was about a Sydney gold medalist called Scott McGrory. If you haven't seen that story, I suggest you listen to it. Because believe it or not, while he was training for the 2000 Olympics, I'll give you the short version. His partner had a son, a heart defect. Who don't know had a heart defect and stopped training for a while. The family decided that he needed to keep doing the cycling. The son had stabilized. He was in hospital for 6 to 8 months. He went to Europe to train, to come back, and about 6 months of age, this baby. I'm sorry, Susie. And I'll have I don't know what the problem is. So this was before the Sydney Games. It was about his family to him. You got to do it for your boy. So he went and he gold, winning gold for Australia in the race. But it just shows you that you and the same with the girl that has the all ability athlete. Hard things in life, and it's how you embrace it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just said I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I've got a new computer and everything, and I'm still not. I haven't quite got it set up the way that I want it set up yet, and I'm still working on it. So thank you for your patience, everybody. All right, I will catch you next time.